Dude, I swear, these Philly gas stations are terrible. These air pumps are always out of service. Alright everybody, what is up? What is up? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today, and we are once again taking a look back at my rear tire. So if you guys have been tuning in for a little while, you know, probably back in the middle of summer, I had an issue where I had a nail in the tire, got it plugged. I was looking at getting the whole tires replaced, and you guys are probably going to yell at me because I still have not got the rear tire replaced. It's still rocking that plug on it. I don't think we can see it where it is now, but I have had it plugged for about 5 months or so ever since that happened. And I know when I made a video about it, I took a lot of backlash there. Everybody's like, you got to get that thing replaced now, you got to get it replaced. And then eventually I got the street bob, and then it kind of fell off the radar. But what I have noticed is that ever since I had it plugged, it has been having a slow leak. So obviously your Sportster rear tire should be floating somewhere around 40 psi. Every time I go to ride it and I check it, it's down around like 20 psi, so it's like half of what it should be every time I go to ride it. So now the next issue with that is, up until now I never really had an air compressor to deal with it before I would start riding, so I would always stop at gas stations. And let me tell you, Philly gas stations are absolute trash. Like you saw at the beginning, they're all super small. You can barely ever even get in if you need gas. Their air pumps are always broken, and honestly, I was just so sick of dealing with it. And that's why I'm excited for today's video. That's why I'm excited to partner with Fanttik on this X8 air compressor, this digital and portable air compressor that we're going to take a look at today. See how we can work with this thing to get this rear tire pumped up more consistently, more frequently, more easier than having to stop at a gas station all the time, because I literally couldn't take it anymore. Philly gas stations are just absolute trash, and now luckily I don't have to deal with them anymore with this new Fanttik X8 air pump compressor. Honestly, I really should have got one of these a long time ago, because they do come in handy, whether it's a large compressor in your garage or whether it's one of those like handheld ones that looks kind of like a drill. They're super convenient, super important to keep your air pressure at the right PSI, obviously, for safety, handling, performance, all that stuff. So like I said, we're going to check out this Fanttik X8 air compressor right here. Again, huge shout out to Fanttik for sending this out and sponsoring this episode. They said go ahead, review it, put it through its paces, let us know what you think. Again, I'm super excited because this is absolutely something I've been needing for the longest time and been putting off. So this is going to be the first time that we're going to use this thing. We have already got it out of the box, but we're going to take a look at everything that comes with it here, the functionality, display, all that good stuff. See how we can get this thing back up to 40 psi. Alrighty, so right off the bat here, let's take a look at what we get with this thing. You do get this nice little carrying case. You can already tell it's pretty compact, pretty small. You're going to be able to take this thing really anywhere with you. Throw it in your saddlebag, your swing arm bag, throw it in a backpack. It only weighs a little over a pound. So as soon as you pull it out, you notice that it is pretty sleek and nice design. That was one thing I was pretty impressed with so far. Let's take a look at what else comes in the box for you. Obviously, again, you got the bag here that you can kind of carry it in. Very important, you're going to have your extension cable here to hook up to your valves. Again, it is electronic, so you're going to have your USB charging. You can hook this up to any USB adapter and plug it right into any outlet. And then finally, of course, you've got just another couple extensions here. You know, if you're going to pump up any specialty type valves, Presta valve, a ball, basketball, football, all that good stuff, you got your extra valves that are going to come with this as well. So we've already got this thing charged up here and ready to go, but one of the things I do like to do, I'm a little bit old school. I like using a regular old school tire pressure gauge right here that we have. So we're going to test this out here. We're going to see where our baseline PSI is. We're going to hook up the Fanttik. We're going to pump it up, see how long it takes to get it back to 40. Now, just from experience, I'm guessing this is floating somewhere around 20 to 25 psi, but let's take a look. All right, let's see here. Old school tire gauge. What did we get? Oh, wow. That's even worse than I thought. So we're at about 15 psi right there. So definitely don't want to be taking off on your Sportster at 15 psi. Let's give it one more run. Yep. Oh boy, floating around 15 psi. So we're gonna really put this thing to a good test here. So again, we'll take a look at the Fanttik air compressor here. Obviously, first thing we want to do is we want to get the valve hooked up here. You're going to screw it right into the back. It does have a nice reach and a nice extension. I know that sometimes is trouble getting back there into the valve of the rear tire. So to turn this thing on, you're just going to give it a long press of the power button. Here comes your display. Obviously, we've got some battery here. It's going to tell you what metric you're using here. Obviously, I want PSI. Now, as you cycle through some of these things, you can have different settings. But one thing I do like, actually, is you got a really good bright view of the display. It's very clear. Really lets you know what's going on here. So we'll cycle through. You can set these for bike tire pressure, car pressure, scooter, motorcycle, sports ball pressure, or you can just go manual. You can press it up and down to where you want. You would go ahead and hit start and it would fill it right up to where you set it. So we'll go ahead and put it on motorcycle here. I'm going to press this thing up to 40 psi, but we're going to try to get this rear tire up to 40 psi. Now we're going to go ahead. All right, so let's go ahead and get this hooked up to the valve here. As you get it hooked up, it's telling me it's at 17, so pretty accurate, in line with my manual analog gauge over there. So let's go ahead and press this. Let's see us get this thing up to 40 psi. So I do actually want to run the stopwatch as well, see how long it takes to get us up to 40 psi. Here we go. There you go, just hit 40 psi, and that took us a little over 4 minutes to get there. So let's go ahead, get this thing unscrewed. And so there we just hit it to 40 psi with the Fanttik air compressor. But like I said, I just want to double check it and go ahead and see what our manual gauge says here. So this is coming in at a little bit lower than 40. I'll give it one more try here. It gets up a little bit closer to 40. So, I mean, you've got a margin of error of like 1 or 2 psi there. So I would say we're pretty good to go hop on this thing and take it for a ride. Alrighty, so there you have it with the Fanttik X8 air compressor. That took us a little over 4 minutes to get this thing from about 17 psi up to a rideable 38 to 40 psi, give or take a few there. But so 4 minutes, I mean, that's a little bit longer than obviously what you're gonna have with like a more powerful compressor or a handheld compressor. You know, at the gas station, that'd probably take you like 1.5 to 2 minutes, but obviously it does have the convenience of being portable, small, compact. You can take it with you. It's definitely better than nothing. I'd rather sit around and wait 4 or 5 minutes than to be riding around on a flat tire, obviously. I would say if this thing was probably all the way flat or even lower, you'd be looking around somewhere to like 6 to 7 minutes probably to get this thing back up to 40 psi. So pretty happy, pretty pleased with this thing. A couple other nice features that you're going to see here with this. It does have a light. Obviously it's light out now, but you can see it's got a light here. You can get right down in there, see exactly what you need to. A couple different options of flashing, blinking, and then stationary as well. So like I said, pretty happy with this thing so far. It's going to be super light, small, compact. Throw it in a saddlebag, throw it in a swing arm bag like I have over here. Make sure it's always charged up before you leave the house, before you get ready for a trip or something like that, and you're going to be good to go if you encounter any low tire pressure situations with this thing. Again, maybe the only real drawbacks, maybe the length of time that it's going to really take you to do that. Again, that's going to be somewhere in around a neighborhood of 4 to 5 minutes to get a tire up around plus 20 psi, what you need it to be. But obviously that's going to be expected. I'm sure they'll probably have advancements on these and the technology behind them in the future, but that would be expected with a smaller portable air compressor like this. Another thing to keep in mind is just always have it charged before you head out on a trip. So I think that will go ahead and wrap up a look at the Fanttik X8 portable air compressor here. Again, another huge shout out to them for partnering on this video, sending this out. This is something I've been needing and wanting because, again, Philly gas stations are absolutely brutal, absolutely terrible. Air pumps never work. This is something I've absolutely been needing. I can just run out, put some air in the tires, and get back on the road. But obviously, eventually I'm going to have to get this rear tire replaced anyways. We got to plug in it. We got a slow leak. I will go ahead and drop all of Fanttik's info down in the description. Links to their website, links to their Instagram and their product. Also my Instagram. Make sure you check us out and follow us at the Moto John. And of course, as always, make it a good one, guys. Ride safe out there. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road. Peace.